Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the final cactus painting session. 31st of January challenge complete after today. This one's going to be slightly longer. I've got an A5 piece of paper here and we're going to do a bigger cactus. So just to start, take your pencil and we're going to draw a little pot. If you want to continue doing it small, then obviously do it small, but my final one is going to be bigger. So we've got our pot. Hope you can see that, yeah, just about. Okay, and we're going to have one of the many prickly pear cacti. So it'll be lots of large segments like this. And you can choose to either paint it multicolored or just a series of greens. It's up to you. Obviously, the way they grow in the wild is green, but if you want to make it a bit more fun, you could do it in multiple colours. You could even do it in rainbow colours if you wanted to. So we've got lots of little projections coming off this one. And again, you can make them up. If you want. And this one is going to go to a new home after this. So this was the last one and I couldn't fit it on my sheet. So I decided that I'm going to give it away to my 150th subscriber. So if you want a chance of receiving this in the post, then subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you're the 150th subscriber, then you'll get it. Lightly rub it out. I'm sorry if that wasn't quick enough. You might not be. I rubbed it out and you might not have even caught up with me, but you get the general idea of building up those shapes. I'm going to paint it now so you'll be able to see. So I'm going to do them in slightly different colours. I'm going to use a series of purples, greens and reds, and then I'm going to put dots on them. So for the main one, I'm going to take one of my greens and I'm going to mix it with a little bit of, I've got lots of dirt on my palette, lots of colour, and I really enjoy watching people who make paintings just from the colours on their left on their palettes. So rather than throw this away, put it down the sink, goes out into the sea, which is terrible. Why don't we use it? So I'm going to use a little bit of cadmium yellow. I'm going to mix it with one of the greens that I've got left on my palette, and you can see that as soon as you put the yellow in, it starts to go more like a lime green colour. And I'm going to put that on the main structure. Now you can see that because my paper is much bigger, that I've got a larger area to cover. So really, I should be using a larger brush. And I'm just looking for one now. If you haven't got a larger brush, then don't worry. But if you have a larger brush, I'm just thinking that, oh yes, I've got one there. I need to use a watercolour brush. So the larger the brush, the less likely you are to get lines on your painting. That's within your paint. So it's basically the quicker you can get the paint on the paper, the better. Okay. We're going to spend a little bit more time doing this today. So we're not going to try and do it in 10 minutes. I mean, I might get some of it done in in 10 minutes, but I won't get all of it done. And you can either do it quickly or slowly like I'm doing. Right, okay, so green. Now to balance it, it's a good idea to take that colour and put it somewhere else. And then you find that your painting will balance. So for example, up here, maybe, but because that area is small, I'm going to take a smaller brush and I'm going to paint that section in there. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it up here as well. And groups of 3 are really good compositionally. So if you can get 3 areas in the same colour, then that's great too. Okay. So next colour, I'm going to use a purple. And I've got red here already, so I might as well use it. And I'm going to put some, I'm going to mix purple and put some blue into it, add a bit more red. So it's like it's a dull purple, it's not a bright purple. I mean, you can use the purple in your set if you want to, the ready mixed one, if you've got that. I want to be careful down near these edges, so I'm just going to dry this off really quickly. There we go. Sorry if that's noisy. Okay, so let me move that over there. That's it. I need to get space for my hand to rest my hand down. So this is where the purple's going to go. Again, I'm using a larger brush so that I can cover the area quickly. Careful near those edges. You can actually turn your paper to work near the edges, which helps, but because I'm filming this, I'm going to have to leave it flat on so you can see what I'm doing. Get right up to the edge if you can. Okay, it's quite warm in here, so things are drying off quite quickly. So again, think, right, I want to put that somewhere else as well. So I'm going to take that colour and I'm going to put it, I'm just going to put some on that one. I'm just going to take my smaller brush, I'm just going to push that colour up a bit to join there. It's better. Right, this one will do. So once we've got these colours down, we will be putting spots on top of them. And you can choose to do spots or you can do spikes if you want to. If you want a spiky cacti rather than a spotted cacti. So we've got 2 there. So let's put a third. Let's put the third one up here. Like that. 3s are a very popular number in art. Okay, so the next colour I'm going to use, so I've done purple, I've done green, I'm going to do a red. So I'm going to use that colour that we've used a few times, Rose Madder, which is the red that sits on the pink side of things. So while this is drying, let's just put this in here. This was dry, wasn't it? I have to remember what I've dried and what I haven't dried. So this will go here. And I'm not too bothered about it touching that because it's a similar colour. So if it does bleed into there, it's not a huge issue. And I'm working with the wrong brush here, but I think it'll be okay. I think I'll work quickly enough to get this colour down without too many lines being left behind. The other thing you can do is work what they call wet in wet, which is where you wet the area first with water and then drop the paint in on top of it, and that gives you a little bit more time to paint because the paper's already wet. It's not a technique, I don't think we used it very much in any of the cacti. We've mainly done this technique, which is called wet on dry, wet paint on dry paper. There you go. If I take that down a bit, you might be able to see a bit better. The lighting in here is not great today because we've got snow and there's just grey clouds outside, so there's not a great deal of sunlight coming in. So we've got 1, 2, 3 colours going on here. Okay, so we've got 3 sections left. So I'm going to choose one of the colours, and I really like the green. So I'm going to use the green to do the final few sections. I might put another colour on top of this one though. So this one will be green. And this one. And then I think, what shall I use? The purple for the next one. Okay, so there you go. There's your sections filled in. Now, if you wanted to let that dry off and wanted to make your colours even stronger, they look a bit pale here today. It's not actually what they look like. I'll zoom in later on and then you can have a look at it properly. But you could put a second layer on all of those colours, let it dry off, and then put a second layer. If you want them to be really intense, then do that. Okay, so what colour shall we do the pot? I think we'll do let's have a think. I've got some blue here, and it's like it's a bit of, like, again, my dirty palette, so it's a bit of indigo or phthalo blue, which is the very dark blue, and it's mixed with a little bit of Payne's grey or black. Okay, so you get this sort of grey blue tone. It's quite nice actually. Looks a bit like stone or slate or something like that. So down we go with this colour, and again I'm going to work some pattern into this pot. I just want to block the colour in first and let it dry off. Okay, yeah, that looks okay. Right, so how are we doing? 13 minutes. I'm trying to keep it to 20-25 minutes, something like that. All right. There we go. Okay. So the next thing is to do some dots. And if you choose a brush that would make nice dots, you could always test it out on a piece of paper. I'm going to put on top of the purple, I'm going to do a dark, almost black mix. So I don't know whether you can see that. Yeah. So quite thick. You want it to stand out. You could use a cotton bud or anything really that will just enable you to create a series of dots like this. And again, just do them fairly randomly. Make some of them larger than others and change the shape. You just simply change the shape by moving and twisting your brush in your hand. build those dots up. And you're going to do the same on, if you don't want to do it in paint and you want to make them smaller or bigger or whatever, it's up to you, but you could do them in pen or pencil crayon. You could make them multicolored if you wanted, you know, it's up to you. Change your methods of doing things and they become your own then and not just a copy of mine. Put some on the edges like that. Running out of paint. So build up your dots. They don't have to be as intensive as mine are. Again, because I'm working quite large, this will take me a little while to do. But the more you do, the quicker you'll get. You just start to fill in those little areas. And I want to do this nicely because obviously it's going to somebody. Make some large, make some small. You may have gone beyond me by now if you're doing a smaller painting. So you can move on and put dots on the others. So just repeat the same technique, but on the other. I've done the bigger one first, so that's quite good. That means that these are moving along quite quickly. Remember to do different sizes, random dots. And marks. And you'll notice that your dots change shape according to how much liquid you have on your brush. And also the other thing is you can use different sized brushes and that will give you different sized marks and different shaped marks as well. So if you have 2 or 3 brushes on the go, then your mark making will be more interesting. There. Is that all the purple done yet? Okay, so the next one, the green is going to have yellow dots on it, but you need your yellow to be nice and thick. So make sure you mix it directly from the pan or from the tube and have it nice and thick, not too much water in it, because otherwise those dots will not stand out on top of that green. But it's nice to have a subtle, and obviously if they're wet like this, just be careful that you don't put your hands in them because they will smudge. So think about where you're working on your painting and where you can rest your hand that's safe. Make those dots different in size and shape. If you move around the sections as well, you'll find that your dots will remain random rather than becoming repetitive. So work over the whole section rather than focusing on one section, because you do get into rhythms and you end up creating the same mark over and over again. There's a hair on that one, look. So if you change direction and go somewhere else like this, then you'll find that your marks will remain different rather than looking the same. It's quite a nice thing to do on a Sunday afternoon, and it's snowing here at the moment, so we were out in the snow this morning. It's very cold, it's not sticking, but It's lovely. And we've also been doing the RSPB bird watch. And the birds are out in force because they're hungry and cold. Poor little devils. I hope you're enjoying this. Those who are joining in. There we go. Okay, last one is red, purple dots. So I'm going to go for the ready mixed purple here. Put a bit more water in that, I think. So send me some pictures of your cacti, and if you've done a few on a page, send me some pictures. It'd be really nice to see if how far you've got. You can always go back in and make these smaller, bigger, whatever you want to do. Well, they look quite nice with the dots on, actually. Oops, that one's a bit big, but never mind. Okay, last, no, not last one, next to last one. Remember to change the angle of your brush, twist it, turn it, and you'll get random marks. I mean, you might be doing spikes, but if you're doing little dots, when we do dots on paintings like this, we tend to use a cotton bud, especially if we're working larger. And if you've done pointillism at school, you might have used the same technique. So if I was working on a larger piece of paper here, I would probably use a cotton bud or something like that, another tool to create these dots. But because this is quite small, I have to stick with my brushes. All right, this one is right over here, and I know that it's all wet, so I have to be really careful where I put my hand. How are we doing? 23 minutes, not too bad. We're nearly there. Don't rush it, don't make a mistake. Just take your time. There we go. That's rather nice. Now we've just got a series of spots. Okay, so let's sort out this pot. I'm going to do like a geometric pot. So I'm going to take a little bit of, I've got a light blue, a sky blue kind of colour. Either a cobalt or a cerulean blue will do. Or you can do your own. Make up your own colours. And I'm just going to put some angles, random angles, which will balance nicely with the organic shapes that are above it. So think about where you want these angles. I mean, you can draw them in with a pencil first if you want to. If you want accuracy, or if you're confident, if you've been doing the paintings along with me, you might be a bit more confident now to just randomly go in with ideas. Let's do one here like this. I'm not going to go anywhere near that blob. Oh no, there you go. Just touched it ever so slightly, and it's running into the blue there, but I'll sort that out in a minute. Okay, it might look kind of nice, you never know. Accidents in watercolour are always really quite interesting. Right, maybe one there. Now then, I think I'll put one just there like that. Right, let's try and incorporate this into the top of that structure there. It might bleed a bit more. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of purple and add that in. Oh, that's quite strong. Just watering that down a touch. I'm just going to put some lines around the edge here. Just a touch of purple. If you want to hold off and do this once it's dried off, then be patient and just pop them in when you're ready. We really should dry this off. It's going to bleed. Let's let it bleed and see what happens. Kind of nice. Look there. Bit in there maybe. Okay, actually I quite like that. I'm going to put some here. Oh, that's nice. Put a bit here. Okay, maybe a bit there. Right, I'm going to run a bit along the top because I actually quite like this purple blending into this colour here. Let's darken that a bit. Okay. What's going on here? Let's make this a bit darker. Put a line around there. That's what I'll do. I'll just put the lines around the edges, I think. Like that. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it at that. I'm just going to let it dry. I'm just going to dry it off now. I'm just drying the pot here because I don't want to dry these dots because they're too wet. And if you try and dry them, they'll just go spread everywhere. So I'm going to leave that as it is. If you want to add to your pot, then you can. I'm just going to show you that one of my cactus has started to sprout. Look. So it's growing season for some cacti now. You can see that the colours are much fresher where the new growth is. So that's a lovely thing. Spring is sprung here for cacti. And once this is dried off, actually, if I just take this off now, and then we'll be about half an hour, I think, which is pretty good. I just put some tape along the bottom, just so that that would cut off that bottom edge. There we go. So there's the finished piece. I'm going to put a little signature down the bottom. Actually, if I move it over there, then you can see it. So I'm going to sign it down the bottom. And that will go to whoever is my 150th subscriber. So I'm just going to switch. I don't know if I can switch cameras on here, actually. No, I don't think I can. So thank you for joining in. Thanks for joining in with my January cacti challenge. It's been lovely. I think I'll miss it. I missed it actually physically yesterday. I did it at 2 o'clock. But I wanted to show you. So now that's done. Good luck everybody with this picture. I'll take a picture of it and I'll put it on at the end so that you can see the finished item. And I hope you've enjoyed this cactus challenge. I want to just show you. In fact, hang on. Does it look? Can you see it a bit more clearly? Closer up. So just get a little bit of a close. So there's the pot. You can see where the purple and the blue have blended together. And there's the top of the cacti. Okay. The colours will vary. My camera is not great. The colours are brighter to my eye than they are on screen. So hopefully you'll love it, whoever wins it. And again, here we go with some of the others that we did. So I've got 31 cacti, but mainly all on these sheets. So I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you again maybe for another challenge. But go and check out my YouTube channel. There's lots and lots and lots of painting tutorials on there. Go and have a look at my website. Maybe you'd be interested in some of my paintings. And if you subscribe, then you'll get updates of things that are going to happen. More of these painting challenges, maybe more tutorials and stuff like that. Okay, thanks for joining in, and see you next time. Bye for now.